Hal here with more, well, space engineers. So today, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into space. Yay! Finally, right? After all the fun that has been the building of our orbital shuttle, we have just finished producing a bunch of oxygen and hydrogen tanks which have been pumped over because it is an open cockpit ship currently. If this design holds up for us long enough to get into orbit, what we will do is we'll actually come back, redesign it a little bit, and close off the cockpit area. That way we'll be able to, pressurize the whole system and not need to worry quite so much about the whole, dying from lack of oxygen. So, alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing off the ground. I want to go ahead and say hello and welcome back to all of our current subscribers, as well as the folks that are following me both here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Let's see. Thrusters are turned on. We are going to unlock. And we're able to maintain our flight. Okay, this is a good thing. Now, what I want to do is basically get this thing out and away from the the base. I want to check our hydrogen tanks really quick. Oops, actually I want to be here when we check our tanks, because we need to look at and see what our fuel levels are. Okay. And we are off our rockers, but okay. One of the things that I do like about the large hydrogen thrusters is that their efficiency is much improved over the small ship hydrogen thrusters. And the moon is behind us. So we are going to swing this beast around. And see if we can hit our target. So, yeah. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope everybody's having or Tuesday, rather. Sorry. Getting a little bit ahead of myself there. So hopefully everyone had a fantastic weekend. And for the folks in the U.S., hope you had a fun and relaxing Labor Day. For the folks outside of the U.S., I hope it was a fantastic Monday. Alright, so we know the ship works. We know we're going to be able to get into space, hopefully. And this is going to be a pretty long trip because we do not have any speed mods on. This is a completely vanilla build of the ship. So we're going to be taking it slow and steady to get out into space. Once we're into space, well, we're going to coast over to the moon. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quick cut, and I will bring you back once we are a little bit further along, because the moon is like 200k away, and that's going to be probably a good 30 or 40 minutes at this speed. So yeah, we'll bring you back shortly. Have fun, everybody. Hi all, welcome back. And as you can see, we are now firmly in space. Looking behind us there, we can see the lake that our base is built on. Down below, we can see the beautiful mountains and the mountain ranges. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is that once we get a little further along, I'm going to drop a marker specifically to target where we're going to be building our space station, because we're going to need a waypoint that's in 0G so that we can build our ion thruster based engines for basically transport between the space station and the moon. And then once we have the waypoint station in place, we're going to carry on from there into the moon itself. So where are we at? We are still at 0.12 But it looks like we are running out of hydrogen fairly quickly. So let me take a look really quick and see. So we want to check our control panel for the tank. Okay, we're still at 40%. That's not too bad. That's fine. But we need to get outside of the planetary gravity so that we can kill our inertial dampeners so that we can coast with what we've got left. Like I said, I want to go just a little bit outside of the gravitational field so that we'll be able to drop the base in 0G and not have to worry too much about it. So I could have chosen a better angle to go into space from, but you know, it works. This is a really beautiful planet, though. Alright, so as you can see, we've got a little bit longer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do another quick cut, and I will bring you back when we are in deep space. See y'all shortly. And we're back. So we are about a little over 1 kilometer outside of the gravity well. Should be a good spot to mark our waypoint. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a GPS tracker from our current position. We're going to call this orbital station waypoint 1. Alright. So now we have that. Go ahead and turn that off. And since we're here, let's take a look at our hydrogen tank. We're just idling. We're at 27%. So what I'm going to end up doing is actually, how much ice do we have? Do we not have any ice? Oh, that's going to be fun. Okay, so let's grab an oxygen tank. Oh. Alright, so we want to grab an oxygen bottle really quick. Actually, let's grab 2 just in case, because I'm kind of paranoid about that stuff. So actually, we're out here. We've got hydrogen. It's fine. We know where the ship's located. So yeah, that's the planet that we have started on. So now that we have successfully been able to get back into space, the next step is to build our waypoint station here. One of the things that I do need to do is we're going to be importing, you know, a couple of million ice. So that lake that we started at is probably going to get stripped down. I'm going to build a larger version of this particular ship that will be probably, I don't know, maybe like 9 oxygen tanks, or I may even go just do a 12 stack. So it'll be 3 here with 3 off to the side, and then, you know, another set of 6 on top of that. And what we'll be doing is basically transporting the hydrogen and oxygen up here. The station itself will have a couple of oxygen generators, the solar generators, and then we will have a large solar array as well. You know, so that basically the station will be situated so that the solar panels will be towards the sun for as much as possible, and then the oxygen collectors will be positioned around the station. So that's the long-term goal. The short-term plan is to get up here, get a station in place, and start building from there. So, all right. Oh, it's been a long day. Okay, so now that we've got this done, we know where we are. We've got our waypoint in place. Let's check to make sure no damages. Everything looks good. Hasn't shaken anything off. Alright. So, now comes the fun part. Throwing ourselves at the planet. And this is going to actually be us throwing ourselves at the planet. So what I want to do here, inertial dampeners are off. We're going to basically put ourselves into a controlled fall. Well, what we hope is a controlled fall. There we go. And then we go... And what this does is it puts us into a ballistic trajectory with the planet if we're in the close enough to skim the gravitational. So if we hit the gravitational well, what it should do is pull us down in a decent ballistic course. We'll see how well this works out. Basically what we need to be doing is just watching our gravity, and we want to... There it is. So we are now back in planetational gravity. We might want to go a little bit further forward, but thankfully the ship has enough thrust that it'll be able to break itself from freefall as long as we have any fuel left. So as long as we have, we're about a K above the ground, we should have enough time to still break the free fall. So this should be entertaining. Alright, so this is going to be probably another 15 or 20 minutes of us just free falling, but it's basically a cheap and free way to allow you to make atmospheric landing without burning all your fuel, because right now I would be fighting everything. So if I'm going to be doing it anyway, I may as well just do it for free, right? Alright, so we're looking at a pretty smooth glide plane, but unfortunately the gravitational, well, in this game is a little wonky. So we are probably going to start falling vertically around the 20K mark. It'll just depend on how much into the gravitational field we get by the time we get there. So, because the further we get into it, the more gravity is going to be pulling on the ship. And since most of our weight is now in the front of the ship, we're going to nosedive pretty quickly. So, alright, so let's see how this works out. And what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and do another cut, and I will bring you back shortly, because we've got a good probably 10 or 15 minutes of this. So, alright, I'll see y'all shortly. And we're back. As you can see, we are inside the 10K range, and we're falling pretty much vertical at this point. So let's turn our thrusters on. We want to keep descending, and that's fine. So what I've done is I've pitched up a little bit to help counter the downward momentum. And this way we're only burning the fuel from the main thruster. We're not doing anything as far as the inertial dampeners are concerned. But because we're about 28K, almost exactly 28K out from the base, we're not doing too bad. So what we're going to do here is we're basically just going to keep coasting in a little bit. Just turn the dampeners on for a second just to give us a little bit of course correction. And we'll go ahead and kill those. I probably shouldn't say the word kill in a planetary freefall. So, but we are technically flying, because you're throwing yourself at the ground with the intention of missing, so. Alright, so we are about 26K out. We are just going to coast in now. Yeah, so it was a successful test flight. Alright, so we're starting to gain altitude again. I don't want to gain too much altitude, because the whole point is that we're down to effectively one full tank. But we are in an atmosphere, so it looks like the oxygen system is regenerating It's nice having a recuperative system here, so... Okay. So we're at 6K and descending. And just outside, or just this side of 20K out from the base. So technically, if I was to do a full burn this entire time like this, I would crash at somewhere around the 15, maybe 13K mark, I think. At this angle. Yeah, I might get a little bit more distance out of it because we are going downhill, so... Yeah, probably around 13K. So we're now in full planetary gravity. And we are still descending. Alright. So, with space engineers, and because of the way that it works, because there are no true aerodynamics in the game, your best angles for ascent and descent is actually vertical. Because you are able to basically throw yourself at your target and not have to worry about making course corrections or even worrying about air resistance, simply because of the fact that the game's physics just don't accurately model that. So we're at 13K and 2.5 up. So yeah, we're going to run into that ridge line directly ahead of us. But let's bring the tanks up. We're at 15, roughly 15%. And yeah, so what's our altitude looking like? 1,500 meters, 1,400. Well, the nice thing is that in a worst case scenario and the ship just falls apart at this point, we're close enough to walk. Let's hope that it doesn't actually come to that. And at 500 meters, I'm going to throw on our inertial dampeners, which is actually going to be very quickly here. And that is where we want them. Alright. So now that we have our inertial dampeners, we are under full manual flight. And this was a successful flight. Now we just need a successful landing to make this a successful mission. What are the odds of that? 1 in 10. You've all seen my landings. Alright. And it's a gorgeous day here on the planet. Alright. How are we doing for fuel? Oh, this is gonna be bad. We need to get down now. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to recover our ship. We're down to 6%. Actually, we're like 4% fuel. So I want to make sure we do not trash this thing. It's already been destroyed once. It doesn't need to be destroyed again. And that's why we put skids on her. And there you go. Alright, so 1K away, not too bad. Now this is why I was saying that with the way that the game is built, you really want to be doing vertical ascent and descent, simply because of the fact that it gives you the most fuel efficient angles. Look at that. So 3.2% left of fuel. Yeah, we would have fallen out of the air about maybe 500, 600 meters away from the base. So now that we have this down, I'm going to go grab some ice, throw it in here, and get this thing refueled enough to be able to get back to base. Oh, it's going to be a long walk. Which is why I have hydrogen fuel. Yay! Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this here. I hope you all enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you today. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that like button. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them down in the section below the video. If you're new here, I do ask that you subscribe, simply because it not only helps keep you up to date with what's going on and helps the channel to grow, but it lets me know that you're enjoying the content. And any content you enjoy is the content that I want to keep bringing to you. So, on that note, I'm out of here. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we'll see you back here next time for more Space Engineers. As always, folks, take care and be safe out there, everybody. Whee! Oh, now we have to go schlep a couple of 100 tons of ice back and forth.